Hello everybody, sanibonani. Welcome to my channel. Igama lami nguNtando Mdletshe, and on this channel siyaye sifunde iy'ncwadi ebhalwe ngolimi lwethu lwesiZulu bese sizala sikhuluma ngazo lezo y'ncwadi. Sixoxele laba phela abangenaso isikhathi sokufunda iy'ncwadi nalaba abanqenayo ukufunda. Siyaphinda futhi sibuka ama-reality shows ethu ala eMzansi. Well, khona ishow esizoyenza ngayona yala eMzansi. Bese siza la sizokwenza ama-reviews or ama-recaps, siphinde futhi sikhulume nga-any other issues avukayo uma ngabe lama-shows sesiwabukile kwi-TV. Uma ngabe uyaqala ukusijoyina namhlanje and you really like our content, please subscribe la ngezansi, uphinde upress i-notification bell ukuze phela uthole umyalezo uma ngabe umsebenzi omusha sesiwufakile. Kodwa-ke uma ngabe ungakabi-sure, hhayi linda uzosubscribe ngoba usuyithanda i-content ngoba asifuni abantu abazo-complain. Sifuna abantu abala because they want to be here. Namhlanje I want to do a review, but it's a mix of i-review yama-interviews out-two that I've watched ka-Mabusi from Real Housewives of Durban. Funny enough, she's like a friend of the show, but we've spoken about her more than we've spoken about the actual cast. It's interesting, honestly, it's interesting. It seems like people are more interested in what she's up to more than what the other housewives are up to. Anyway, they don't want to share what they're up to. So Zuziwe Gcuku, please check out her channel. She does reviews, a Real Housewives of Durban too. She did an interview with Mabusi. There's certain things that I would like to talk about that they discussed in the interview because it was quite revealing. I like the way that Zuzu handled the interview, you guys. If they need a reunion host, because it seems like they need one. Maybe they need to consider Uzuzu because she really did ask relevant questions, things that if you have watched Umabusi on the show this season, you would want to know. You know, she was very good with this interview. She was not intimidated at all. I loved it, you guys. I really loved the interview. But after I watched this interview, because I wanted to do this video last week, but obviously I couldn't do it, I went and also watched another interview that Umabusi did on Ikakasi FM with Felix, no Jeps. And it was an interesting interview too. I mean, honestly, if I compare both interviews, my questions about Askil about Bozil are very similar to each other. The interviews were very similar. Obviously, with the Kakasi, she was at the studio. Here, she's got this chillers thing, like pajama party kind of thing. Uzuziwe. So yes, yeah, but the questions that they ask, I guess all of us have similar things that we want to know from Umabusi, having watched her. So I guess now they wanted to know the same things, which is quite interesting actually. But I want to give a shout out to one of my viewers that directed me to a channel Zuziwe. I just want to find out who directed me to that interview. If you want to watch the interview, you guys, I've posted it on my community post, so you can go and watch it. This interview was pointed out to me by Nompilo Mazibuko. Thank you so much, Nompilo Mazibuko, and thanks for watching my videos. She said she wanted to hear my take on the interview, you guys. But honestly, after I watched the interview, I was like, what could I possibly talk about? Because honestly, um, Uzuziwe did such a good job that I don't feel like there was anything that wasn't clarified from that interview. But there are things that I wanted to know. Of course, we got to know a little bit about Tumabuzi, where she's from. We all know from Lamontville. Thina baseThekwini we know ukuthi uma uhlangana nentombazane yaseLamontville, hey, you stay away, bazokugwaza lapho. Yeah, so we all know she talks about how she grew up. I'm gonna mix the two interviews in terms of the way that she asked, but the way that she answered the questions, but she answered the questions similarly anyway in both the interviews. And she said she grew up, she was the only child at home, so she didn't have any siblings. So growing up, she had nobody to fight for her. Ulona. She's always had to defend herself and fight. And here, guys, she's talking about physical fights. We all know a lokshin. I guess a lokshin cishe kufane nasemakhaya. Nasemakhaya, I don't know how I got away from not fighting as much. And yeah, but that's what she says. And but she says, but obviously, as you grow up, you grow out of that. It's not like right now she's going around fighting people. But obviously, should there be a need to fight, she would be able to fight because she has fought all her life in her younger life. She talks about the fact that she worked at ESCOM for like 15 years. We got Gasi FM interview. She actually says Gusi, that was one environment that taught her a lot. That taught her a lot about how to deal with people from different backgrounds, people with different personalities and characters. She said that the experience that she got from there, she even uses it now, being in a Real Housewives of Devon. And she says, "Ukuthi, funny enough, she had never ever thought about being on TV. She quit her job as com because she wanted to start a business, and the reason she started a business is because she was having trouble with period pains. Went somewhere to do the uni thing, and she was so amazed because there was something like that, and South African women were not aware of period pains and fibroids. I think that's what she said. And from that's when she thought, wow, this would be a great thing to do in South Africa because people are not aware of it, and it had helped her a lot. That's how she came up with that business. But she does mention, you guys, that she's got other businesses. She's got a fashion business. Apparently, she's got an online store. She sells clothes, but also hair, and she's into a lot of things, you guys. When she says Gucci, she works hard, she doesn't just get it from her husband like Jojo does. It's inspiring when you listen to her story. But she does say Gucci, she had never thought about ever uh, being on TV. But guys, the surprise for me in these both interviews, obviously when I watched it, guys, I already knew it because Uzuzu also asked it on her interview. She asked Guti, how was she approached? Did she get to be on Real Housewives of Durban? Because I always want to know, how do they find these women, and make a decision. Guti, these are the correct people to put on to cast for the show. She said actually she was approached to be a permanent cast member, you guys. She said initially when she was approached, she was not going to be a friend of the show. And she had been approached by this woman on Instagram, but she ignored the messages. And then someone had called her, a friend of hers who had been approached to do the show, but she didn't want to do the show. She tells her, "Gotaibo, there are people who are looking for you here. Please answer their call, go and see them. You might be interested in what they're talking about. In fact, you'll be surprised what they want you to do." And she ended up calling the woman, and she ended up taking the call from this woman that she had been ignoring, you know. And it ended up being like, this is Real Housewives. She says that because she had never been on TV, she had never worked on a TV production before, she just felt like it's going to be overwhelming for her, and she would like to do it, but she wanted to be introduced slowly into the show. So that's how she ended up being a friend of the show. It was her idea, you guys, to be a friend of the show in the beginning because she didn't feel like she knew how well she was going to do because it was something new for her. So she was introduced to the show. They did ask her about the fact that was she really friends with Unonku, because that's the one thing that confused a lot of us in season one when it came to Mabusi. Are they friends with Unonku? Why are you saying you know Nonku, but Nonku says she doesn't know you? She explained, guys, which is something that I think we all know, that when someone comes on a reality show and says, and then they say she is a friend of this person, they're not really friends. It's like now with Usonia on Real Housewives of Atlanta, they're saying she is Drew's friend, but then she's gonna end up being Shiray's friend at the end, because really she's not really Drew's friend. But they have to introduce. She says, when you come to the show, they have to introduce you as somebody that knows somebody in on the show. She says when she was approached, she was given the names of the people that were going to be on the show, and obviously Abosorisha, Eni, Humuto, Lachonto, Ayanda, and Unuku. And she was asked, who do you know from these people? Who do you know? And when she saw Igamala Nonku, she's like, no, I know Nonku, you know. And she says not that they were best friends, but they have common friends. Like in a group of friends, Unonku has a group of friends. In that group of friends, there's one friend who is also Mabusi's friend. And they had met in some places when they're having fun and whatever. So she felt like Unonku, it won't be a problem if she says she knows Unonku. So the producers decided to introduce Mabusi as a friend of Unonku. Unonku took it serious, like if they say, Unonku took it serious, like if they say, umngani wakhe, hayi bo akuyena umngani wami. You know what I mean? And she was supposed to just go with the flow. We're not saying we know everything about this person, but we have to find a way to introduce this person to the group. Just say you know her, you know? And Unonku took it too personal. But she says that other than that, there was nothing that had happened between Yen and Nonokuna. She was surprised what she received it, the way that she received it. They do ask her about ukuthatheleka kancane by the other woman. She really doesn't have any explanation for it, you guys, except that she does mention ukuthi sometimes when you don't have a partner or a rich husband or whatever, kunaleyo attitude that you get from the other women, and so maybe she thinks that uklasana nje lokho, but she feels like she has worked hard for her place to be respected, and she emphasizes, you guys, ukuthi she doesn't have a problem with anybody when it comes to the show. And she does say, Gutula Choncho, yes, really, she is a friend, even outside of the show, they do hang out. And but the other, she says, Any, they do hang out in the crooked places, no any. She says they do hang out in the crooked places, no any. She says, with Ulona, Ulond, they just didn't have the time to bond. They just didn't have the time to bond. She doesn't have a problem with Ulond, but they are not close and they are not hanging out outside of the show with Ulond. And did I ask her about Numa Kumal? I don't think that Uzuziwe asked her about Numa Kumal, but I think Ugutu Felix did ask her, Jebs on Kakas did ask her about the Makumalo relationship. She does say, guys, ukuthi Uma Khumalo, it was difficult to get to know her for her because she was very quiet, and a lot of the times she would find herself not knowing whether she wants to get to know the others or not. And a lot of the time, she says they would have conversations, and Uma Khumalo would not say a lot. She says she really just wasn't saying a lot. A lot of the times when they were together, she was just quiet. So it was hard to know what to how to take her. Is she interested in building a friendship? Is she not? And she feels like that's the reason that they ended up not being able to build a friendship during the season. But she does say that she doesn't have any issues with her. When they resolved it on the show, it really was resolved. But it's not like they're besties now. And she does say with the fact that she's friends with Ula Chonto, it also plays a part, obviously. And yes, but she clarifies that she doesn't have anything personal when it comes to Unokuzan, when it comes to Umakuman. But yeah, you guys, they go into the Jojo thing, you guys, what really surprised me is that we actually didn't see that Mabusi did throw water on Jojo too. That's why Jojo was crying, you guys. We're wondering, why is this woman crying when she's the one who poured water on Jojo? The way she explains that part, she says, okay, it was edited, obviously, but she does say that the way that we saw it when they were talking about the questions and Jojo just was getting heated and nobody understood why she's getting heated, that part is true. But she says that conversation was longer. That fight when they were still just talking, it's much longer than we saw. So she says there's a lot of other things that they said even after the water throwing. There's a lot of other things that they said that we didn't see on the show. She says, but the way that the throwing of the water thing happened is that Jojo threw a glass at her, and then when she was trying to grab a glass and she fell. She says actually she fell, but she did actually reach the glass and threw the water on Jojo. She said, I'm telling ngemuva. So when she was walking out to Jojo, ahlale emhlala emanzi. She doesn't know whether that part is on camera somewhere or it was an angle ye-camera ukuthi abayibonanga. But everyone else there was there so she did throw water on Jojo. So she did get a little bit of revenge. Maybe that's why she forgave so easily. And then, yeah. So I guess that's why Jojo got so mad because she she threw water and the water was thrown on her. And Yeah, but she says that's what happened, and then the whole thing. Of course, she's grateful that she didn't take it too far, and that she was able to control herself, and there was nothing more physical than it already was. And she says Umakumalo was one of the people that helped her to hold her back from going after Ulukuzana, Jojo. And she says, honestly, during the season, she didn't think that she had a problem with Jojo, because even when Jojo was calling her to her house to confront her about the question, she said she thought that Jojo just wanted to hang out. Remember, they're getting to know each other. Jojo is, this is her first season. Mabusi, it's her second season. Maybe Jojo wants to get to know her. She said that's what she thought. She gets there, she's being confronted. But after that, she also thought, okay, this is resolved. And then she said when she's watching the show, that's when she realizes, when she's seeing Jojo's diary sessions, and she's like, Jojo really doesn't like me. She insists, you guys, to this day, that she does not have a problem with Jojo, as he has no problem with Jojo. And she gives an indication when they ask her what happened. Did Jojo apologize? She says people must watch the reunion to get to know what happens between Yen and Jojo. One thing that she can say is that Jojo has done everything that she can possibly do to make the situation better. And naye uMabusi, she feels that she's a person too, if umuntu keeps on showing that she regrets doing something, you can't just continue being angry with the person. It's not being, human. If you're human, at some point you're going to be like, you know what, girl, I'm okay. So she gives that indication. But she says, as to how that happens, people must watch the reunion. But that was the interview, you guys. I think for me, the surprise was the fact that kanti naye umthelile ngamanzi. It's weird, but it's satisfying for me to know ukuthi naye watholile amanzi. Angazi, guys, but it's satisfying for me to know ukuthi uJojo naye watholile amanzi. And the fact that she is saying, uMabusi, ukuthi she was actually initially approached. And it gives me an indication that Umabusi is very intelligent when it comes to the show. For somebody to be approached to be a permanent cast member, and for them to say, you know what, this is something new in my life. Let me just enter it slowly. And then when I'm comfortable, then we can make that decision. She doesn't give any indication as to when that she's coming back next season, you guys, for season 3. She says she can't talk about that yet. I guess they haven't approached her. She doesn't know yet. But she does say, you would see, you know what? She's not rushing to be that. She says this quick, she says she's not rushing to be a permanent cast member, because she says when you're a permanent cast member, you have to have a storyline. Like when you're a friend of, there's no pressure. But when you are a permanent, you have to have a storyline. She says, and she has a very small family. She has her mom and she has her son. Her son is like 19 years old. She says, firstly, her mom is very old fashioned. She says her mom even doesn't want her doing the show. She didn't want her doing the show. Now she can see she's famous and all of that. Now she's like excited about it for her. But she says there is no way that her mom is going to agree to do the show. That's one. So that's minus one person in her life that will do the show. She says number two, she has a son. Her son is 19 years old, so she can't make a decision for her son. Should she be approached to be a permanent cast member, her son will have to make his own decision if he wants to be on the show. Then she's in a relationship with somebody that is not um, in the country. It's somebody that's outside of the country. So she says she doesn't have a lot of people that are in her life, like, So if she's going to be a permanent staff member, obviously she has to have something going on in her life that is going to interest the people. So she feels she's not putting herself under pressure to be a permanent cast member, but she does understand that being a permanent cast member comes with its own pressures. So she will have to be ready. So she believes that when it comes, it will come at the right time. I like that about Umabus, you guys, because it means that she understands that you can't be a permanent cast member without a storyline. We need to know more about her life, which means that if they put her on the show, she's going to have a plan as to what we are going to see moving forward. And I love that, you guys. I don't know, you guys. Honestly, I've always been for Mabusi being a permanent cast member. Like, if we had to vote, I've already voted. I've done so many videos about it. But I do get what she's saying at the same time, because she might be an exciting friend of the show, but she might not make an exciting permanent cast member because she really does have will need to have a storyline. She might have to find some cousins and some uncles, some distant uncles, and she might have to convince her mom and promise to buy her a new house or something. So she's on the show because otherwise, then it's gonna be boring. If she's gonna be permanent, then she's gonna be like Abo Eni, where we don't see anything except a person going to events. But you guys, it was exciting to see the interviews. And you guys, it's funny because with the Real Housewives of Durban, I've never seen Ama Real Housewives that don't really appear anywhere. Like I'm an interview, they don't do interviews. A lot of them, like when you're looking for information on them, and Mabusi is like out there doing everything and talking to everybody, and it's so easy to find the information. I think she's perfect for the show. When they ask her about the opportunities that have come with doing the show, she says that she has one thing that she is working on with some people, and she says it has to do with TV, but she can't talk about it because it is not concluded. And then she says that, but when it comes to her business, though, she says that her business has because obviously she's getting the exposure from the show, and so she has seen some positive impact on her businesses, which is what is supposed to happen anyway, you guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. I didn't think it was going to be this long, but that was the two interviews, Zika Mabusi, and I think that we learn a lot from them. I honestly think that she should be coming back next season. I think she's the only guarantee for me. I think she's the only guarantee. I don't know how the others are going to, what the others are going to come back and do next season, but I'm looking forward to what she will come back and do next season. Thank you so much. Please like this video before Pumegiona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ngini thanda kakhulu.